So what MITO-PLEX does is it's based on research, extensive research, which looks at what's going down in your body when insulin's low when you're on a ketogenic diet. This is a study where blood electrolytes lowered after being on a ketogenic diet. So low carb is great, low carb is excellent, but electrolyte balance can go down and you might feel weaker. It's important to understand it's not just electrolytes. There's a lot of electrolytes. There's a lot of things that change in your body. So that's why we call them upgraded electrolytes. If you look at upgraded electrolytes, it's not just things like potassium. They're bound in specific compounds like with bicarbonate, which is a specific buffer. Think about like when you're training hard and you get that burning sensation, bicarbonate's a buffer. And it goes down oftentimes on keto. So if you look basically at the ingredients, you'll notice that you have these electrolytes that are bound in different forms to optimize your health and overall optimize your performance. Does that make sense? It's not just all you need. So that's the first part of this formula. But additional thing is that we have to be able to produce and utilize ketones, right? So we promote endogenous production of ketones and the ability to use exogenous ketones. And the way to do that is to optimize the internal machinery that you have. And where do we burn energy? Where do we create energy? And what? In the mitochondria. So if we look at the life cycle of man, we talked about aging, right? We go from youth to being very excited in our 20s, and then what happens? It goes down. What do you think happens to mitochondria? It also goes down. Okay? So we need to stay that. We need to stop that. It's very important when we talk about anti-aging, utilizing ketones to be able to address this issue. So how do we increase mitochondria? If you deplete carbohydrates from the muscle, it forces you to have to work off fat as fuel. And that's what interval training and circuit training does. That's what intermittent fasting does. Does that make sense? When you deplete yourself of carbohydrate, you have to rely on mitochondria to produce energy. But what if we could take a supplement that could turn on those systems? Would that be cool? DNA is what? It holds the instructions to make things, including what? Mitochondria, right? Okay? It's a blueprint. DNA is a blueprint for you. When we're doing this 24-hour system, we're trying to optimize that blueprint. Does that make sense? So basically, the thing though is mitochondria is very difficult because there's DNA inside of the cells, in the center of the cells, the nucleus, but there's also DNA in the mitochondria. But you have to somehow coordinate the two to make new mitochondria. So it's a very difficult process, and we're making this formula like, well, what's the best way to target that? Well, it turns out that you almost have a switchboard. Okay, think of it as like a switchboard, and there's a master regulator of this switchboard that can coordinate or orchestrate both the DNA in the mitochondria and the DNA inside of the nucleus, okay? And that switchboard is called PGC1 alpha. So that's what we targeted in this formula. We targeted the switchboard that coordinated both of these formulas. So it turns out that if you look basically at this new supplement, MITO P2Q is inside of it. And MITO P2Q technology actually switches on the master regulator to turn on mitochondria. And that's exactly what's in MITO-PLEX. So again, if you look again, you see basically a mitochondrial matrix in there. Of course, we talked about DNA repair. We talked about DNA repair, that's CMed 100. And of course, there's some creatine monohydrate at a level that actually improves cognitive function and supports healthy muscles. So in conclusions, keto adaptation is a very complex process. To optimize it, to optimally function, we need to address electrolytes in a specific manner. So when you're taking basically the MITO-PLEX, you're ideally you're taking it, morning, midday, evening, and you can mix it with your keto nat. And on top of that, you're targeting the mitochondria all 3 times of those days. That way you can increase fat metabolism. That way you can increase the ability to use fuel. Okay, that's key.